Besides construction costs, one must also consider operating costs, especially the price of fuel, in this case, uranium. The price of uranium has skyrocketed in recent years. Uranium is a finite source, and the reactor-grade ores are severely limited. The ever-decreasing quantity of usable uranium dooms their plan, even if the affirmative can reprocess and stretch it for a few more years. Furthermore, credit markets are tight and SNLs do not have the money to spare for construction projects involving proven technologies. Estimates from the Congressional Budget Office put the probability of default on a nuclear loan guarantee at well above 50%. Even with 100% loan guarantees and NRC approval, cash-strapped savings and loans still recovering from a credit shortage may still not provide loans for new generation nuclear projects. Investors have had opportunity to invest in reprocessing construction since 1981, and they have not done so. Liabilities unique to the nuclear industry make it even less attractive to potential investors, including decommissioning expenses that far outweigh estimates of the past. Investors will also shy away from providing money for reprocessing technology because it is new, and the NRC can implement new licensing requirements during construction of a new type of facility. Investors will not risk investment until NRC renders decisions on the construction and safety requirements of a prototype. This will further drive up the cost of electricity derived from this type of plant, making the plant even less attractive to investors. The affirmative plan does not eliminate the core problems of nuclear power. Because of this, nuclear power plants must charge far more in energy rates to consumers to come close to breaking even, much less turn into a profit. This in turn makes nuclear power non-competitive in the marketplace. Wind and solar power plants are workable and proven technologies. A nuclear plant costs $10 billion to construct. The largest existing solar plant was constructed under $200 million. The cost to build a new nuclear plant is 14 cents per kilowatt hour, and that for a wind farm is 7 cents per kilowatt hour. Wind and solar energies are economically viable alternatives. Renewables have greater potential dollar for dollar to decrease emissions 4 times greater than nuclear. Global warming and the economy. Nuclear energy cannot produce enough electricity to put a dent in climate change. Nuclear energy represents too small a fraction of the national energy portfolio to be a solution. Even if the nuclear renaissance were to start today, it would simply take too long to have a significant effect on climate change. Nuclear energy is prohibitively expensive. The potential of renewable energy sources to reduce carbon emissions is around 4 times greater than nuclear power. So every dollar invested in nuclear expansion will worsen climate change by buying less solution per dollar. Arithmetic is not an opinion. Although nuclear reactors emit no greenhouse gases directly, uranium mining and the reprocessing of nuclear waste emit significant amounts of greenhouse gases. Taking these emissions into account, generating electricity from nuclear plants emits as much as 20 to 40% of the carbon dioxide per unit of energy as is produced by gas-fired power plants. And moving on to nuclear waste. Contrary to the affirmative claims, nuclear waste would remain a significant issue. The nuclear industry has already run out of places to store the waste, leaving more than 80,000 metric tons of highly radioactive waste sitting in cooling pools next to 103 U.S. nuclear power plants. Quickly running out of options, producers have began dumping in developing countries. In the GNEP report by the affirmative site pumpers, reprocessing produces slightly less waste, but by no means are waste-free. According to another affirmative site, Beck and Grimson, a period of interim on or near surface disposal is inevitable. Beck and Grimson also state, and I quote, "The present PEREX process produces considerable volumes of waste. Discharges to the environment from reprocessing plants have historically been much higher than from operating nuclear power stations. Reprocessing also produces highly active liquid waste, which is potentially hazardous and difficult to treat. The separation of plutonium represents a potential weapons proliferation risk, and the process is also expensive." And moving on to we also note that renewable portfolio standards are forthcoming sometimes during the Obama administration, as per testimony by Kristen Echohard for UPI in February 2009. In light of these eminent developments, we propose the following counterplan. The United States federal government should establish a national renewable portfolio standard. Specifically, Congress should mandate a 20% incremental increase in the portion of electricity derived from renewable energy sources by year 2017, gradually increasing afterward to 40% in 2027 and 60% in 2037. as per the recommendations of S. David Freeman, prominent energy expert. The RPS will be based on electricity demand and not capacity. A tradable credit system will be implemented in order to account for differences in current state programs and diversity of alternative energy options due to geography in different states. Finally, the negative will mandate that all electric utilities require existing nuclear plants within the next 30 years.